Those that have just joined, this is still Extinction Rebellion London, Extinction Rebellion UK. We are with the Amazonia event. We know in the Amazon, illegal loggers are killing tree protectors. They're killing forest protectors. And this is the UK marching in solidarity with what's happening in the Amazon, because the Amazon forest, the Amazon forest gives us so much. Did you know that in the Amazon forest there are rivers in the sky? You will not believe it, but there are rivers in the sky. Go and have a look. The way that it works, the forests, they create so much life. They create water, they create air, and that air, that water rises and like a river in the sky. It is unbelievable. But ecocidal companies and ecocidal leaders like Bolsonaro, and they just don't get it. They just don't get it. So that's why we have to rise up. We have to stand in solidarity with the people, with the global south. Most of these companies are UK funded or Europe funded, okay? And there's investors that are making money off the deaths of people. We have to start putting people over profits. There's no money on a dead planet. Respect existence or expect resistance. The wrong Amazon is burning. How you doing? We want to not be alive, we want to thrive. We want to thrive. Defund the Amazon ecocide. Okay, ecocide was a law that was put into the Roman statutes, which is the same law that the same document that covers genocide, the same document that covers crimes of aggression. And in 1996 already, that law could have been passed. But politics got in the way. Lobbying groups got in the way. So since 1996, there's been millions of people affected. When you cut down 500-year-old trees, it'll take 500 years to restore that. It is ecocide. It is the most ridiculous thing to do. just watching, yes, PACHAMAMA. Go and read up about, is it a myth or is it a story that we tell each other about PACHAMAMA? Go and read up. You can find out about PACHAMAMA. The myth or the legend. Go and read about the legend of PACHAMAMA. Remember, the Amazon is burning, but in the UK we have our own Amazon. We have 108. HS2 is destroying our own Amazon. Go to stophs2.org for the UK. But join Extinction Rebellion. You know, whether this is, if you go to rebellion.global, you can find your local group. And we can do this. We can do this by peaceful, non-violent civil disobedience, and we can do it through laws like the Climate and Ecological Emergency Bill. If you're in the UK, go to ceebill.uk. If one of you guys can type it into the comments, please. Remember, you also have to thank all of these, the non-violent de-escalators. You know, they've spent their lives practicing non-violence. They've spent their lives learning about non-violent communication, NVC. Well, not necessarily live. Some of them only found about it recently, because you can get trained, you can find out how that works. It's really a great way to settle differences or get to understand the differences we have. Often just the misunderstandings, because we're not listening to our own feelings and we're not hearing what someone else is saying. So non-violent communication, there's a beautiful process where if you have a disagreement, you can let the one person speak, and then after that you repeat what you think you heard them say. And then they can come back and say what they said and whether you heard correctly or whether you heard incorrectly. Because often what we hear someone says is not the same as what they say. Often we don't wait long enough. We don't do active listening. We don't wait long enough to really hear what someone said. As soon as they start speaking and maybe we feel offended, we start coming up with a response. We are not present. So there's so many things we can learn from resilient communities. You know, a lot of these aspects are practiced in Indigenous communities, you know, where they have citizens' assemblies. It might not be called that, but they have local councils. We should not always assume the way that we do things are the best. Of course, there's different, you know, there's great things that the West has done. There's horrible things that the West has done. We can learn from our mistakes, we can share our successes, but we really need to upgrade democracy, actually re-democratize democracy with a citizens' assembly. So again, the website is ceebill.uk. This was tabled. The bill got tabled in 2 days ago, I don't know, Tuesday. The bill got tabled, and the government can make it law in 2 days. This bill gives a pathway to the UK government of exactly the type of things that they'll need to do to... Photographers and the news and the press really have they're also doing a good job, you know. There was action today, this morning. This morning the Murdoch media got shut down, so the morning newspapers of Saturday got not released because there's 7 billionaires that control the media. Go and find out. You can go and find out about that action if you go on Extinction Rebellion UK or London. Go and have a look, you know, just search for Extinction Rebellion newspaper blockade. So as in Exosol, people just come together, magic, they create beauty. These are handmade. Okay, there were workshops where people learned how to make this. This is from someone who's from the Amazon, who's lived this. So it's not just a concept, an abstract. You know, he has seen people murdered. The indigenous people are being murdered. And so many of these indigenous people, they have knowledge about medicines in the forest. You know, here we have freedom is a right, and we're all born free. You know, Jelly Tot, she's a tree protector. She's a conscientious protector. She climbed that tree. You climbed the tree, didn't you? Yeah. And people love you for it. You know, so as we spoke about earlier, the Phoenix from you know, we don't have to wait. We don't always have to wait for the government. You know, we don't always have to wait for the government. You know, they have agendas that are placed by spokespeople from lobbies, from fossil fuel industry.
May I talk about why I climb the trees? So stop HSC people. We need everybody at the camps to protect the trees, to protect our life, to protect so much things, but we need people at all of the camps. Wendover, Jones Hill, Denham are at a particular threat this week, Jones Hill and Denham. But there is 106 ancient woodlands left amongst with loads of other woodlands.
So 2 got destroyed.
2 have gone.
Yeah, Hillingdon. Yeah.
Correct.
So go if you go to if you search for Hillingdon Outdoor Centre, you will see how beautiful it was. Into it, destroy
and
water.
The aquifer, the London aquifer, so the London's drinking water will not be drinkable, and hundreds of people's homes, they're being forced out of their homes under gagging orders. Wonder we're getting a fraction of the value of their homes worth for generations of farmland and crazy chaos, and the whole district and the trees are being cut down for a temporary taxi rank. Temporary, it's not even gonna stay.
Pay paradise to
this is crazy.
Pay paradise to put up a parking lot. You know. Really recommend people look after their health. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Only you can free your mind. You do not have to be as stressed as you are. You do not have to be as worried as you are. You are safe. You are loved. You are nurtured. That is what the body, that is what humanity needs, is more love, more caring, more compassion, not more fear. Whether this is the fear of arrest or whether this is the fear of participation in civil disobedience for your career. So we had ex-lawyers talk about some of the lawyers that are afraid. They know it is wrong, but they're afraid. So we need to live in society where lawyers can stand up for society. Just about the HS2. So this is the UK. So it's not as beautiful as the Amazon, but it is spread out at 108 too. So there's 20. So to give you an idea of numbers, okay, 7,000 was already 7,000 trees was already felled, and 40,000 trees. That is just for the one area. Now multiply that times 108. Okay. don't feed the trolls. You know, there are people that have been paid to disrupt this type of actions. There are people that we've seen that come to the march again and again and again and again. They record something. They're very selective. Like for instance, if there's a musician or if there's an art performance, they will record not the speeches or the topic, they will record the artistic performance, which is beautiful. And they will put that on the front news of some lie spewing website, usually separation fueling websites, newspaper. I almost want to say newspaper. These systems exist to separate. These systems exist to make us afraid of each other and afraid of our own power. Okay, they have confused us. Okay, they have used their politics. They've confused our politics, and they've confused, you know, and it is just, it really is remarkable when you look into it. There's a Writers Rebel. If you go to Extinction Rebellion, search for Extinction Rebellion Writers Rebel on Facebook. There's a video that shows that 55 Tufton Street. It's a long video, you know, there's lots of speeches by very famous authors. So if you're an author, if you're a writer, go and look at that. It explains exactly, you know, how these fossil fuel industries and how these destructive industries get away with being on TV or in the newspaper, you know, as a spokesperson. It is really disgusting. You know, of course, we found out today about Barclays or Sharkleys, but you know, there's also BlackRock, you know, and we have Earth Strikers, you know, hey, you know, BlackRock, we are watching. So BlackRock, you know, is one of these also American massives. They manage more money than most countries, and most of that money goes to, you guessed it, extractive. It's very simple, remember. We have three demands. There's also extra psychologists. So if you're a psychologist and you want to find out why people fall so easy for denial and how marketing is using it, you can see there's groups all over the world. So if you go to rebellion.global, end police brutality, you know, some of these tree defenders, you know, they've been pushed, they've been pulled, they've been pushed out of trees. And also remember, there's a lot of changes we'll need to make. You know, one of them is the animal rebellion. You know, we need the government to tell the truth. The World Health Organization years ago already said it's beneficial for humans to go mostly on a plant-based diet. You know, and it's easy. You feel so light. You feel so, you can feels so good. Yes, this morning, tell the truth. And yes, sure, you know, we are disruptive. You know, yes, of course we're disruption. But it's because we're facing an unprecedented global emergency. The government has failed in protecting us. You know what? You know what? We don't need the governments. They need us. They need our taxes. Stop paying your taxes. Stop it. You can find out about the money rebellion. Okay? And you can find out about the psychology behind control of money and how the interest system works. And how it was created to enslave people. It is mental enslavement. It's making people think that they do not have enough. It's making people think that they need to have certain amount of wealth before they have value, before they have power. Wealth is not power. Wealth is not power. I've seen very wealthy people that are completely powerless. Okay? They struggle. And then I've seen people with just enough, more than enough, and extremely powerful. This is why, you know, we are protesting to demand the government takes immediate action on climate and ecological emergency. Take the risk of... And we are non-violent. The only aggression that's been shown has been by the police. We know that it's not the individual police officer, although, you know, sometimes that happens, you know, we're all human, you know, maybe had a really bad day, but it's often the leaders, you know, the police, the guys higher up, the guys that are told by their people higher up, and who in the end controls the police. You know, in South Africa, the police was always used, you know, to do political arrests, to shoot at protesters. In South Africa, the police shot at miners who struck. And this is recent, I think like 3 years ago. Police forces need to work on this. Decarbonize your mind. We have been taught, you know, so many people that the tactic of the think tanks, thank you, the tactics of the industry is often just to blame it on the consumer, to tell the consumer it is their fault. You have to decarbonize your mind. You know, there's a lot of things we just got. It's true. It is true that there's a lot of things that we can do. You know, some of us have done almost everything we can. But there's 100 companies that do 70% of the pollution. And we've got UK and European banks financing the whole show. You can't have that.
No worries.
Thank you. All right. I had to tie my shoelace. Thanks, guys. You know, and there's political options as well, you know. We can come together. Let's come together. We want people who lost faith in activism back. You know, let's come together right now in citizens' assemblies. You know, in citizens' assemblies. We do not have to wait. We do not have to wait on the government to do this. In regards to the money, yes, we must. You know, it's very important for us all, not just the rebels here, not just the ones that are willing to get arrested. You know, these, like grandparents, you see them. You know, and students and people from all walks of life. Many of them are carers and nurses. Got to fight racism, fight imperialism, because it's part of the same system of separation. Together we stand, divided we fall. Amazon is true, you know, you can read up there's some parts of the Amazon that's close to tipping point. Okay, that is where it's not able to restore itself. It actually becomes a carbon producer. And we're reaching out, you know, people are finding out. You know, a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, you know, you could have been excused by not knowing. We've got first aiders. Not just survive, but thrive.
We want to thrive and dance and love and gather and see each other's culture, eat each other's food, improve the food, improve the earth, and then look after the animals and look after the earth. In England, we are very, very rich in a condition because we are isolated. We can take all the pesticides from the earth and then grow organic vegetables everywhere as an investment for a country that actually can develop the well-being of all the population, preventing any other conditions as well, and with poverty. So we can change the economy, we can change the way we work, the life and with each other, and have a wonderful life like we never experienced before.
Yes, yes,
Love each other.
yes. And you know what? I just want to say we are not giving up something. We are escaping. We're escaping the carbon economy. We are escaping separation. We're escaping the lies. We're escaping the lies of the news. We are setting the news free. So it's glorious.
We are having our own voices. We are transforming the world.
Yes, we're rising up like
We're
a
rising.
phoenix from the fire. Just quickly, what is your name, ma'am?
Marcia Mar,
Marcia. And where are you from?
Brazil, and I love everybody. So I speak simultaneously 21 in any of the 7,000 human languages.
Wow.
We all can do new things that our brains can never do before.
If we
are all
focus.
super unique. We are all very special. We don't have to repeat the things that don't work anymore. Love from.
That is a powerful woman. She might not have so much wealth, or worry about the ascot, or we choose to change today. Not that it's bad. If you love shoes, I know people who love shoes. Go on, enjoy, you know. But don't just buy it because you're expected to buy stuff. Escape from that need. That's true. You know, the media, what should really have been happening since last year, actually since since October 2018, when the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, when the IPCC declared a climate emergency. That is for, you know, the UK was still talking about Brexit, you know, and other people, and it just goes on and on, you know. It is such a distraction. You know, the politics is so distracting, and they don't focus on the things that are important. So yes, so we're streaming it because you're right, it is not, or when in the past when it was covered by the media, for instance, the Murdoch-based media, you know, they called Extinction Rebellion protesters, they called them parasites today in the news. And it's very interesting. They say, you know, we are not stupid. So there's all kinds of ways you can track media online, and you can track headlines, find similar headlines, automated by the way, because we're not lazy, we are just efficient. We know how to code, you know. We know how to connect. We know how to bring people together. And the Murdoch-based media, all of the, well, like four, was it four? That I saw, about 4 o'clock this morning. 4 o'clock this morning, 4 of the newspapers, you know, their headlines online, because they couldn't get the newspapers printed, said parasites, you know, Extinction Rebellion parasites. And you have to remember in Rwanda, before the genocides over there, you know, between the Hutus and Tutsis, the one side started calling the other on the radio. They started calling them cockroaches. They started calling the people cockroaches, and that is to dehumanize. So the Murdoch-based media, you know, it's like completely captured. They use the media to make you think in a certain way, and it's not good, you know. And this is not us saying it. We'll put a link in the description. So if you go to mediareform.org.uk, so the website is mediareform.org.uk, mediareform.org.uk, and they state that 80% of the UK media is controlled by a couple of corporations. So we need a free and open media. That's why sometimes we do get media, but we should not be the story, okay? The criminal inaction of the governments around the world, that is the story. Climate change isn't even the story anymore, because we know it, the scientists have already done the work, and they work. The criminal inaction of the Indeed, our eyes are open. We are watching. still today, earlier today, there was a citizens' assembly planned for Trafalgar Square. A people's assembly, you know, it's not quite a citizens' assembly, not as formal. But it was planned. Police came and kicked everyone off Trafalgar Square. So today the police used the COVID regulations to say they have a risk assessment. You know, there we go, beautiful, beautiful people there. So yeah, today the police used the COVID restrictions to prevent a citizens' assembly. Yet there were still other, even on the square yesterday the police forcibly removed one speaker, just one speaker. Then they removed the microphones, then they removed the megaphone. Not a big megaphone, just big enough so a crowd can hear. Yet today there were 3 other groups that had megaphones and they weren't. So there is the law isn't being applied equally. Also, the police specifically targeted drummers on the first day, and even though they were saying that they're willing to leave the road, the police still took them. You know, this is without a warning. Also, another thing, the police arrested 200 cyclists on a bridge where the police actually had blocked both sides of the bridge, so no cyclists could get out. This is ridiculous. This is abuse of police powers. It's just not enough. So for those just joining, it's Extinction Rebellion London, and we are in London with the march in solidarity with the Amazon. But earlier today we had a Sharkleys event that showed the amount of money that Shell, Exxon, all these companies being from Barclays, and Barclays has a really bad track record. You know, they used to give a lot of funding for the apartheid government in South Africa until there was civil disobedience in the United Kingdom, where the students decided to close down all their bank accounts and move to more ethical banks. So there is a money rebellion coming up where you can do the same. You know, go with ethical bank. Just type it into DuckDuckGo, you know, or Ecosia, one of the search engines that do not sell your data on. So here's a So we're talking about that action earlier today. It was a rugby match between Sharkleys and Extinction Rebellion football team. Rugby, what am I saying? A football match. Okay, and you know, Sharkleys, some people on their team, you know, some of the points in Sharkleys Premier League of polluting banks. Okay. Here's the top banks, banks by investment in fossil fuels. It says JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. All of these guys are complicit in ecocide. You can have a look at the website sharkleys.co.uk. And you know, in 2015 we had the Paris Agreement, but Sharkleys' success speaks for itself. Since 2015 Paris Agreement, they've been mopping up some of the game's most coveted titles. They're #1 European banker for all fossil fuels, #1 banker for worldwide for Arctic oil and gas, #1 European banker of coal power. What, coal? Really? Someone's still doing? Okay. #1 European banker of fracked oil and gas. I'm not actually joking about coal. Coal is also still done in Germany. There's massive destruction. We have to start telling the truth and calling citizens' assemblies. We have to start calling citizens' assemblies. Here's another key fact. Barclays provided 118 billion of financing, which is lending underwritten. Nearly 30 billion of it in 2019 to fossil fuel companies since 2015. Again, this is 118 billion. 118 billion pounds Barclays has given to fossil fuels. This is after the Paris Agreement, where all the countries are voluntarily, but they decided they'll do everything and to past 1.5 degrees average. Remember, average is the so it's right there in the middle, you know, right there in the middle you have the 1.5. But if you move it, then you're people just don't get this because it's not being explained. The extremes get worse. Exactly, power to the people. All tribes unite. Find your tribe. Hi ma'am. How are you doing? If you're in London, we have HR Hackney, a very strong group. But also just go to Extinction Rebellion or extinctionrebellion.uk. Yeah. And you can find your local group. If you're international, you go to rebellion.global. And we have the sound of the rebellion. A lot less drums because the police do like confiscating. Remember, no one is truly free until everyone is free. And it's a choice, that's all it is. You can read, there's many books written about Costa Rica. Costa Rica abolished their army. Yes, they did that, go and have a read. And they reused the money. We're going to do 1 minute of silence. And do 1 minute of silence for the ecocide. We have to change the law. This was supposed to be already law 1996. In 1996, this law was supposed to be passed. It was a draft. Viva Amazon! Viva women! We can take over. Yes.
For diversity all together, and on art will preserve life. The Amazon, the
Mic check.
The Amazon,
The Amazon
contains the heart of our medicine.
contains the heart of our medicine.
We love all the people of art.
We love all the people of Earth.
We can cure our minds and our bodies.
We can cure our minds and our bodies.
Our ancestors are with us. They have paved the way for
Our ancestors are with us. We have paved the way for humanity.
We forgive ourselves and our ancestors for our mistakes, and we move on.
We forgive ourselves and our ancestors for our mistakes, and we move on.
Democracy includes all of us. The voices of the indigenous people and their wisdom is with us.
The democracy will include all of us. The wisdom of the indigenous people are with us.
We love one another. I love you all. We are not to perish. We are to thrive. We are to share the love of art like never before. We are to thrive. We are to love one another.
Yes. To thrive, we are to love one another.
We thrive now. We love one another now. Fully.
We thrive now. We love one another fully. So you know it's time to change the rules. Polly Higgins died. Boom, 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 boom. Calling on the lawyers. Rise up. Calling on all the lawyers. Rise up. You cannot leave. You cannot leave your ethics at home. To try and be professional, you have to.
Es un ritual que María del Mar, como la brasileña que también sabe estar participando.
Crouch down because we can't see him. Right, thank you.
Yes, we say no more. No more. We will not stand for ecocide. Hey. Wow. Emotional. There is power in ceremony. Yes, Ryan, I am groaning to myself. I recommend you do the same. I've had a very long days struggling with police aggression. My voice is hoarse. Not like that. And yes, there's some people groan to themselves. They do happy hums. Read up about neurodiversity. Read up about. I encourage you to just let it go if you want. So we are directly just to the side of Trafalgar Square and the National Gallery. And there's a sign there, Boris, let's get climate emergency done. Yeah. But Boris, the tank engine, seems more interested in, seems much more interested in bailing out, giving the fossil fuel industry money, giving the large infrastructure project money, because they will destroy 19,500 full-time jobs, but create 20,000 part-time jobs. And it will permanently destroy trees, while also temporarily moving taxi ranks. HS2, go to stop HS2. HS2 is not a train. It is a remarkable land grab. It is the biggest, most expensive, and most environmentally destructive project in the UK's history. It is fueled by lobbying. It is a construction industry looking for a cake. And people don't, it's estimated numbers, you know, it's the whole business, there's no business case. Police also, the government only, they just want people to be silent, don't talk about it. Whether it's an HS2 or Silvertown Tunnel or the super sewer. So we're just having a bit of a boogie here. Of course, when you rebel, sometimes it is hard, sometimes it's emotional, you know. But sometimes there's also nice, cool people here. HS2, load of poo. HS2 is a load of poo. Where's the money? What a waste of money. HS2 is a load of poo. Where's the money going to? HS2 is a load of poo. What a waste of money. NHS, not HS2. Tell the truth.
Need to move on, yeah, from here? You heard this? There's vulnerable people here who can't get arrested, so we need to shift.
All right, hello. Calling for citizens' assembly, which scares the government. But it doesn't have to, it's already been used. And it was used in Ireland because the Irish government, you know, the politicians knew, yes, we're Boris, let's get climate emergency done. You know, let's sort that out. So, citizens' assemblies has already been used in multiple different countries. It was used in Ireland because the Irish politicians, the problem with politics, the problem with career politicians and party politics is that the politicians want to get re-elected. You know, so there's business interests, there's all these type of things. Whereas with citizens' assemblies, it's a randomly selected group, you know, randomly and representative. So if like the UK, you know, has 11% of people that have some form of disability, whether this is a visible or invisible disability. That means Citizens' Assembly will have 11%. If 1% of the country is like super rich, then 1% will be represented by 1%. It is deliberative democracy. Indeed, there's a lot of rich people that's got nothing to do, so they just end up putting their money into HS2. They want to go for airport shuttle and pay £300 for a ticket, while spending taxpayers' money to build it. And we are so rich in culture, indeed. We are rich. Brazilian embassy is right over there. Badass. Yeah, so my voice, it's actually, no, actually what, Baverman, it's just something I do. I like doing it. What do you do that you enjoy doing? Again, this is action because the Brazilian government is still burning down the Amazon. But like we said, we have our own Amazon burning. And that is caused by HS2, 108 ancient woodlands and 700 sites at risk.
Climbs down, explores, and whilst it does, your soul at peace rests. I will go away, yet always stay, while branches and roots wither and become sawdust, and the metal cores of machines owned by miners and mineral hunters. We, because we were everywhere, have already taken seed in your imagination to remind you of a time when we were spread freely, our filial roots connected and bound up. Roots intertwined, layered leaves of different species jostle, compete and find space in a fractious kind of harmony. We may disappear from this physical space, but we'll take root in your being and haunt the time you wait and dream. We've had our protectors. We've had humans who live here, nimble, eluding scrutiny and evading capture. And only we know the echo of conversations, stories, laughter, and knowledge that they pass to their young. We are everything to them. Home, school, hospital, medicine chest. Protectors, tree defenders. No beings are perfect, but some examples of courage, soluteness and heroism are not things you can look away from. All who live with us are children of the old forest. Poison dart frogs, sloths, jaguars, and the indigenous ones, the First Nation people. They'll carry our stories. Your eyes will lose the ability to look on a complex immensity throbbing with minute life. Your ears won't hear the rain coming through to water the upper, middle, and lower reaches of the canopy. But your mind will always imagine it. We used to help you breathe, and now we'll help you breathe.
Forgive me my accent. I want to know what you people want to do. Because we are democratic. So we want to know what you want to do. You want to stand up and dance home? You want to walk back to Parliament Square? Parliament Square! Who wants to walk back to Parliament Square? Parliament Square! Who wants to walk back to Parliament Square? Okay.
All right. So there is some lovely food provided, by the Hare Krishnas. There's also a website called I can't remember. Food for All UK. They serve 5,000 volunteer organisation giving food for 5,000 people. The governments are. People are not. People are rising up. And in the UK, we had mutual aid during the COVID crisis, the lockdowns. It is not the government that helps out the people. It is the people. The people have the power. They always have. You too. What a good life, eh? Thanks. So these are tree protectors. They look a bit rough because, yes, they live in trees. Okay? They have to. It's a choice they made because they could not stand by, well, 40,000 trees. 40,000. That's just in one phase. In one area.
A woman rebelled against the Spanish colony. And she was captured and killed. All that time today. That's why we're marching today. That's why the Bolivian movements come out every year to march. To celebrate that we have a heritage, we have a home. It's nothing. We've been doing it for 500 years. We've been rebelling for 500 years. And the slavery is still going on. And you are the slaves as well. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Okay. We're going to follow the orders of our Prime Minister. We're going to walk back to that.
So,
Rebellion!
rebellion! Rebellion!
We will back and we will be millions!
So today's Brazil. That was. Yeah, so in Extinction Rebellion we often use art, music, and dance to really communicate things which only the heart can understand. So again, for those that want to see, if you want to see the destruction, there's parts, again, the government allowed HS2 to go ahead just with the preparatory work. HS2 has been going for 12 years, okay? For 12 years the fight has been on. And then, reviews come out and then it starts at 15 and then 20 billion and then 40 billion and then 50. And as that happens, it is just the construction industry that is just adding another invoice to the taxpayer. And that's not how democracy. People aren't even traveling that much anymore, because they learned they can do so much from home or work less. There's a lot of people that prefer to work part-time. They realize they'd rather spend time with family. Okay? Because it's better having a work-life balance than having no life. So we're taking a bit of a break. It is Saturday after all. We've been rebelling for a whole week. You can hear people's voices and people are a bit tired. So, but we're not going away. And the thing is, we've done everything that the government has asked for. We last year we made it so clear and told the world what the science says. Okay, we demanded the governments to tell the truth, say what the scientists are saying, say it the way. Actually, just say it. Don't deny it. It is scary, yes. There are some things that's already happening. We already see manifestations. But there's still harm that can be reduced. There's still things that we can do that will stop some of the worst effects. There's also, we need to get resilient. So we need to start thinking we can't spend money, on vanity projects, like a high-speed train between airports. Okay, and it's not just train. A train usually has a couple of tracks, and you can get it done within this area, But HS2, there's some parts where it's 2 miles. It's a land grab. They are building. It is just ridiculous. Go to stophs2.org, and if you're a tree climber, if you want to learn how to be a tree climber, if you go to hs2rebellion.earth, hs2rebellion.earth. You can find out there's a map there. You can find out how to get to the camps. And if you're a member of the public, you can drive there. You can take public transport. You can get there by public transport. There's a Google link on the website, hs2rebellion.earth. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Fatima. Yes, we have to fight, everyone. It is non-violent, but we do have to stand up. And then after that, we can get back and we can relax and recover but every now and then the fight is needed to remind government that we are watching. And the goal is to get a citizens' assembly. So again, the bill can be passed in 2 days, but the government has decided to delay it for another 6 months until March. You know, this is just ridiculous. So we're going to continue putting the pressure. We expect you, if you want to, well, you know, we really actually just please do it. You know, we're begging you, just do it. Go to the website, I'm typing it in. It is called Digital Rebellion. digitalrebellion.org. Okay, and at digitalrebellion.org, right over there, if you're in the United Kingdom, you just type your postcode. You type your postcode and it tells you who your local MP is. This is the person that is supposed to present your best interest. But I'm sure for many of you, you've not spoken to them. But for us, we've gone to our council. We asked them to declare a climate emergency. You know, in North London, there was plastic pollution everywhere. You know, that stopped cleaning the streets because budget cuts. So the government keeps on doing austerity measures to the local councils, but then give 100 billion. It's expected to be between 105 and 115 billion. That's £3,000 per mile. Okay, this is just a money-making scheme for the construction industry. 20,000 jobs that will work out, I think they said £1 million to create a job. You know, you can just give £1 million to these businesses and there's like, you know, 50 jobs. It is just crazy, and it's happening again and again. Tideway, you know, with the super sewer and the concrete work in Bermondsey. You know, the Silvertown Tunnel, again, this construction is massive, and it is just ridiculous, guys. We need to start doing citizens' assemblies. We have the opportunity now to really democratize democracy. We can bring it back to the people. That is about democracy. In regards to culture, you know, we can learn from other cultures. We can learn to be more resilient. We can learn to be peaceful. We can learn to be calm. We can learn to be connected. You know, we do not have to believe in separation. We do not have to believe in fear. We do not have to believe that money, we do not have to believe that we need a certain level of money to have value. Our worth is not in our bank balance. Our worth is not our credit score. And some of us, you know, it's very easy. You can tweak your credit score. It is really simple, you know. So even if there's a money rebellion, you know, where you can do some rebellious things with money, because money is made up. The financial system that we are using use fiat currency. Go and watch videos of what fiat currencies are. Okay, it is made up money. It is not based on money anymore. It is currency. There's a difference between money and currency. Currency you can create through a bank. It's called monetary easing. Okay, you can also just, when you take out a mortgage, the bank types in a couple of numbers and says, okay, there's this amount of money that will be coming in because someone owes it. You know, so we have so many options. You know, Holland or Amsterdam is looking at using the donut economy model. Okay, where they go look at donut economy, go and look at circle economies. There's so many ways we can do this. And again, you know, it doesn't have to be, actually, to be honest, for almost everyone, it will be better. You know, for 1%, less than 1%. And I've seen these guys' yachts. Okay, so, and I've seen some people that just not. It is not money does not bring you happiness. Connection, purpose, community, love, as peace. These are the things that we need more of. Yes, Kay, thanks for putting HS2 Rebellion. So just put a link there in the comment if you click right now. You know, they need tree climbers. If you're a rock climber, I know London has a lot of rock climbers. You know, there's also tree climbers. You know, if you're not sure if you're willing to be arrested, you don't have to be arrested. You know, but come and, you know, share your intelligence. You know, share your heart. I know some of you guys have got very smart tricks up your sleeves. You know, because you just have to stop it. You know, it can't go through the council. The council, everyone has gone for all of these councils. Said no. All of these councils said no. They don't want it, but the project gets pushed through. This is not democracy. This is not how it works. So it's not just other countries that we're pointing the fingers to, even though we are doing And Brazil, again, you know, it's investment. A lot of the investment is from the UK. So, you know, Rebels is taking a bit of a rest. Today is Regen Day. So there's no high energy actions. I'm going to make it to some food. But I want to just I just want to get to everyone watching and everyone sharing. Make sure you share these videos with your friends. You know, because it's not gonna. The way it gets better is when we do it together. Okay. And again, yes, we don't always have to have this fighting energy. We don't always have to do it this way. We can create the world we want to see and make it so appealing. You know, that we just attract people towards it. You know, go and spend more time around fires. Go and camp at rivers. And with the HSC, there's 108 parts where you can, you know, can try and do that. I'm gonna. Oh, you're done. I think it might be done. So yeah, so I'm just going to say goodbye for now. But again, thanks everyone. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you share this. Go to. Exactly. Yes, the police don't even need to be here. Okay, this is the protecting literally corporate business officers that are creating ecocide. We agree. We said from the beginning, the police don't have to be here. We're non-violent. Okay, we have de-escalators. We have people that make sure there's no violence. The only time there's been any aggression has been from the police, and that needs to be addressed. Police needs to learn a bit more. You know, maybe one day in a beautiful time, you know, the police could become, instead of being a police force, there could be a community service, you know, transformation. And we can do this, you know, we really, really can. So make sure you share these videos, you know, but also take care of yourself, you know. On Monday, people are going to the camps. So go to the website, HSC Rebellion. Okay, there's going to be actions all over, there's actions all over the country. So in Manchester, Cardiff, London, but also if you just go to find out your local group, because you'll be surprised how often there's a group already. You'll be surprised how often there's just a group already where you are. And if there's not, there's a guide on how to start one. You know, you don't always have to do some of the groups. You know, people just go and they go to the councils and say, hey, do you know that Parliament declared a climate emergency and that you guys haven't done anything? So there's so many different ways to rebel. You know, the people that are here on the ground, you know, they've made that choice, they've made that commitment that they cannot stand by. They are not bystanders, but upstanders. So, you know, even though there's all of this, there's still so much beauty. Despite all of this madness, the roads, there's so much less traffic on the roads. And this is probably not going to get much busier again, because based on the people that I spoke to and what other people tell me, their parents don't want to go back to commuting 2 hours to work. 2 hours to work and 2 hours back. Are you crazy? Not to mention, you know, commuting further afield with a, you know, fantasy line. So yeah, you know, make sure in between the rebelling, make sure you also pause and breathe. You know, and look at the beauty. London is still beautiful. The cities are. The UK has done better than some. Not always on their own effort. But yeah, I wish you all a really, really beautiful day and a nice calm evening. You know, there is our Buddhist next week is going to have, I think, 6 o'clock every day, a meditation session. There's also other, you know, therapies. You know, there's also the XR psychologists that have just started, and I'm not sure if they're doing any therapy type of work, but they're looking at with the climate emergency and the grief. So you can check that out as well. All right, so to all a good night, and good night to all.